Hey friendlies, want to hear something cool? My girls and I are glamping in the Boreal forest. Stick around, it's gonna be fun. Well, we're glamping all right. That's the tent we arrived at. And I will say one thing, I'm bloody glad that we did, because if we'd done this my way, we still would have been setting up our tent when the storm hit on Thursday night. So, glamping it is. We're Saturday morning, and it's the first day we're allowed to have a fire, because the entire national park was extremely dry because of a lack of rain, and then it finally rained. We were like, yay, but then it was too windy to have a fire. Late last night, the wardens came around and said that we could have a fire. So this morning, we're gonna celebrate by having a fire. So look. The days, that's a terrible framing. Hold on a sec. So the days of you just being able to pick up wood wherever you want in a national park are long gone. These days what you have to do is buy it in bags. Oh, weird shadowing. Whatever, it's an authentic woods experience here, okay? So what you have to do now is spend like $7.50 for a bag of wood at the park. I have no idea what the center is called in English. So anyway, so we got a couple of those. They're great for if you're going to start a fire with like that squeezy stuff or whatever, but if you're going to start with tinder and all that, it's not so great. So I'm going to chop some of it into smaller kindling size pieces. And I brought some tinder from home because I was pretty sure that was going to be the case. Man, I look like I've painted my face camo. Whatever, let's get to work. Here's a relatively flat piece of wood that I'm going to use as a chopping block. Oh, I don't know about that. Okay, I flattened off the bottom of this one. It's not perfect, but ugh. Okay, if this first chop doesn't go as I want it to, then I'll figure something else out. Oh, look at all that beautiful birch bark. Stuff is firelighter's delight, man. Let's just go to batoning so that I can maintain a little control here. Oh no! Phew, I'm okay, I'm okay. Now, I may not be allowed to just chop up any wood I find standing dead or otherwise around here, but they never said anything about these beautiful dry balsam fir branches. So I'm gonna take a few. This one's dead. No, it's not. It's important to just take the dry stuff. You know the old rule of thumb, right? If it bends before snapping, err on the safe side. I do that even when I'm taking these dead. Oh, that one is clearly, yeah. I do that even when I'm taking these low branches because I'm never really sure. I'm not an expert at this. I didn't go to school for forestry or anything, but like this snaps fine. But if I'm trying to take one off and it bends, like that one's bending a lot, so I'm just gonna leave it there. It would make really nice tinder, but you know, right here, right into the middle of it.
It's the shiny part there.
Jab it right into the middle. We should add some char cloth to this.
Yeah. Another char cloth.
Okay, right onto the char cloth. There it is, there it is, there it is. You got it, you got it. Roll a little bit. Yeah, okay.
Yay!
That was a very good job, Squirt.
Even though my hands are hurting?
Yeah, it's fine, it's fine. Pain is good. It teaches you that you're alive. Put it carefully, though.
Exactly.
It's gotta go in.
Oh, man!
Yeah, but, you know.
Damn.
Damn. Put it.
Aww. I'm crazy cuckoo.
What? What kind of talk is that?
It's my own talk, man.
Hope it's not too windy, guys. I just wanted to say, In that fire before we started, which I forgot to film, there was some the remains of some birch bark. So whoever was in this campsite before us knew how to start a fire with birch bark. Camille, bunny, under the tree. So yeah, in the fire there was some burned birch bark, which tells me that the people who were here before know how to start a fire with birch bark. But they didn't know not to rip the damn bark off a living tree. There is a dead tree lying, like a big one, like 40 meters from here. Take that as a lesson, guys. If you don't want to piss off the bushcrafter who may be here right after you, don't be a dolt, okay?
Hello, people. I'm in my own fire.
It's a little shout out to Zed Outdoors and Mr. Mark All Years Life on Instagram for introducing me to this tea can. I love it greatly. I use it all the time, and it's thanks to you lovely boys. Thanks a lot, guys. What do you mean we need a little rock?
I want to throw one in to see if it's safe.
Making char cloth.
And I'm cooking my sausage.
One thing I do want to say about this morning's fire, the girls did that by themselves, without me. They did it without matches, they did it proper. I saw Camille coming in and putting away her fire kit, and so, good job to my girls. Okay, so here's the situation. You guys have seen me carry this around, right? This is a Trangia. Technically it's a mess kit, I think. And this, which is the fire kit that I won from Tank Tracks. Still very grateful for. And then there's this little bag for her stuff. What I got here is her kit is right here with this tiny Altoids thing. This steel is no good. So I'm going to give her this steel from the Tank Tracks giveaway. Here's her little piece of flint. Lots of sparks, it's good. It's a good steel. Piece of fat wood. Here's the scraper that I gave her with the ferro rod that I made her. Here's a tin of char cloth. This is Camille's jute rope. So that goes in there. Her ferro rod goes in there. Her new fire steel goes in there. Look at that piece of flint. Beautiful. And that's sort of just like to make her kit complete. Those of you who watched Joe Robinette's recent series, the 10 items, 10 days thing, will remember him saying in, was it the first or second episode? How he was saying, you know, I'm up here in the Boreal. Oh, and did I mention that I'm in the Boreal forest? By the way, I'm in the Boreal forest. It's because this is not just forest. The Boreal is something completely different. It's huge, right? It reaches from Labrador across Quebec, Ontario, blah, 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 right to Alaska, wraps around, across Russia, into Scandinavia, you know, like Finland, Norway, the magical kingdom of Sweden, and then back. And it's an exciting forest. It smells a way that I'm not used to down near Montreal. It's not Boreal. But even down there, people are talking about, Boreal. There's a beer called Boreal and all that. There's a printing press, that's named after the Boreal. But there's no Boreal down there. And where we are, it's the Saguenay Fjord, which is epically large. It's 165 kilometers long, and only the last 65 kilometers of it up the river isn't salt water. It's an estuary of the St. Lawrence. Well, it's in the estuary of the St. Lawrence. It branches off, and it's salt water for 100 kilometers. It's an epic place. It's a magical place. It's powerful. It's exciting to be here. I'm sorry that we have to go back home. This wouldn't be Raindance Bushcraft without, s'mores, but also beer. Tonight's beer.
What?
You like it?
Mm-hmm.
By the way, this was my first time making s'mores. I had never made s'mores before. Now I have.
Great.
And I feel that that's made me a better person. So tonight's beer is La Schwab is the name of the brewery, and it's an ambré amer, beer on lees. In English, it's called an American Pale Ale. 5% alcohol, so it's pretty standard, and it's 500 milliliters. And it's local to the Saguenay. In fact, it's local to Saint-Félicien, which is on Lac Saint-Jean, here in the beautiful Boreal forest. And it's a very fine drink.
Mm.
And those are very fine s'mores. So, as I guess we always say, if you like what we're doing, then please get the conversation started down below. This week's question is, when you're out in the bush, how do you make your coffee or tea
Or hot chocolate.
Do you do it over the fire, or do you do it on a gas stove? Whatever it is, let us know down below. Aside from that, please share the video. It helps us more than you think, especially now that YouTube is so crazy. If you're not subscribed, then please subscribe. If you are subscribed, then hit that little bell and leave us a smiley thumb. If you don't like what we're doing, leave us a frowny thumb. Thanks for watching, guys.